What's going on, people? It's your boy Travis, Horror Movies Uncut. Welcome to episode number 44 of the Submissions and Slashers podcast. We are back, this time with some news and updates for everything you need to know involving the horror movie genre, especially on the independent side of things. Hope you guys are doing good. We're rolling this Thursday, November 30th. Now, at this particular moment, I was supposed to be doing an interview with the director, Brent Bell. We talked about him for the last couple weeks, right? The director of Lord of Misrule. He also did The Boy and Orphanage First Kill, or The Orphan First Kill, Orphanage. So crazy. Thought I was going to have a chance to talk to him. Was waiting, getting a chance, going to record, have something ready for you guys to see on the next episode. Unfortunately, it fell through, was not able to go, so we're going to try to reconnect with him at a different time. But don't worry, folks, we got some other interviews and all types of other things on the way, because as we get into December, we really get into that final month where you get to see the best of horror, action, sci-fi, and all the genre films that are out there as people start to really wind down their best of the year, which we'll also do coming up very, very soon, okay? But on today's episode, Thursday, November 30th, what you need to know, always follow us at HMUNCUT. I have to check the @sub// account for Twitter or X because we got banned like a long time ago. I don't even know why. I had no idea what we did. But I feel like it's still out there somewhere. But for now, just make sure you follow us at the main family homepage, which is at Horror Movies Uncut, at HMUNCUT. You can find that everywhere, people. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Hit all those buttons, the likes, the subscribes, the follows. Make sure you know so that you can subscribe also to the website, which is horrormoviesuncut.com, HMUNCUT.com. That's where you get those daily updates, sometimes 3 or 4 updates. I got about 3 or 4 updates I got to do even after this podcast. But what is going on today's episode, number 44, which happens to be one of my favorite numbers, just to let you guys know. That was my number in basketball. Love the number 44. Okay. Loop Track is a film that we're going to be talking about. We kind of mentioned it on last episode, number 43. I was super surprised by this film, so I'm very much looking forward to talking to you guys about this. Weird news of last week. Got another one of those guys for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the decayed body. And if you miss the one before, go back and check out the one before if you get a chance to. All right. Also, talk about the big budget action film. Kind of thinking about going to seeing it tonight. I mean, it's, not doing the interview and stuff's kind of throwing some of my schedule off. I was supposed to actually have this done earlier today, but I was waiting because I wanted to make sure that I could announce the interview on the podcast. So I'm just announcing that the interview didn't happen, right? So thinking about going to seeing this movie, but not sure. But I know for sure I'm either going to go see this movie or I'm going to go see the new Godzilla movie. But I'm going to tell you why I'm going to go possibly see this action film that's coming out in theaters tonight. And if you people are big action films, you know what film this is. And it has a lot to do with season. Season, right? All right. So the only other things we're going to do, give some indie film shout outs from below the grave like we normally do, and then tell you what the hell be streaming next week so you can make sure. And look, man, I'm going to be honest with you people. Like I tell you guys all the time, Horror Movies Uncut has been affiliated with Arrow UK. So all my English blokes out there, all my fams out there getting the peas, you know what I'm saying? I need y'all to make sure you guys are on Arrow, subscribing. It's only $4.99. I need Arrow to make an American version so we can get some of those great films. They got so many awesome collections, and I love the fact that they're constantly going to filmmakers, producers, and people behind the scenes that are busy right now, and like asking them, what are the films that got you into it? Because you'd be surprised, man, at just like the wide variety of films. I want to do one of those so you guys can actually see like the wide variety of films I would want you to see. But I have a podcast, so I guess I could tell you guys on here. But I'm trying to tell you guys about new stuff you should be watching, because a lot of y'all are still too nostalgic out there. And if you know me, you know horror, and you know how I roll, you know that as much love as I have for all my friends that are everywhere, right? I want new shit all the time, every day, right? All the time. Okay. So we'll talk about what the hell is streaming next week. And then, give a couple updates on what's going on next show, which unfortunately will not be the Lord of Misrule interview. But that's okay. We got you here. This is going to be a very quick episode. Don't you go nowhere. Make sure you hit all them subscribes, invites, spam emails, chain block letters, whatever we send you, follow. Be right back. Don't go nowhere. Welcome back to Submissions and Slash Podcast. One of the things that I enjoy about being, let me rephrase that, a film critic is, and I always have to give shouts to like people back in the day, because there's certain people that knew I was a film fan even at a very, very young time in my life. And they constantly push to me, hey, don't forget about independent. Stay with the indies. Make sure you are giving love to the indies. And when you cover genre films, what you find out is the main reason why you stay with the indies, because when it comes to genre films, those indies actually become the super unforgettable movies, from a Blair Witch Project, you know. Um, there's certain parts of the globe that you want to tap in because of how beautiful it is and how wonderful it is. As you guys can see behind me is a huge football/soccer supporter of many clubs from around the world. Also played rugby, still love playing rugby, follow the sport. I'm a big New Zealand fan of the All Blacks. I actually have a flag in my other room for old school fans. They probably saw it back in the day when I was in my other office space. The Kiwi people, those Pacific people, my Australians out there, everything. I have always been very, very fond of any type of horror film, genre film that comes from that side of the globe. The accents are familiar. For the American audiences, you don't have to put on subtitles most times. Thank Crocodile Dundee for that. But it's great when you get to see like an independent film that actually is so much better than many of the bigger budgeted films, and they use old school tactics like practical effects to make sure they're staying what I like to call genuine to the craft, right? So Loop Track, which is from Thomas Sainsbury, he's Sainsbury. He also stars in the film. He's Ian in the film, and he steals the film right off the bat, not only behind it but in front of the camera, because he plays the super high anxious, just like whatever anxiety you've ever had with a friend or a family member or even possibly yourself. Take it up. That's Ian. And the crazy thing about Loop Track is they never really dig into why the hell his ass is on this hike in the first place. But like, white people like to hike, and it don't matter what continent y'all motherfuckers are on, y'all like to hike. So it's very, very fitting. And the funny thing is there is a brother in the movie. He ain't from America though. He British, like every brother on TV right now. They all British. They never really get into like why he's hiking, but this trail is this amazing trail that like I would love to go to, where it gives you like like a day's hike, and there's a couple of spots that's like a half a day's hike. You got waterfalls, you got different cabins that are set up throughout the place. It looks like Far Cry. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm down. One of the reasons why it's probably good that my broadcast can't go to none of them places is because I would probably think I'm in Far Cry if I'm in that shit. And that's probably not good for society. So we move on from that, right? Anyway, Loop Track follows in this very high, anxious young man, and he runs into some people who are just like kind of doing their thing. Um, Hayden J. Will, who plays Nicky, he's like the guy who's like, he's the bro, right? He's the dude who knows every in and out of the trail. He hits all the time. He's like, bro, you gotta do this, you gotta do. He's like, dude, I got the water bottle, I got the protein snack bars, I got, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the guy who it's like you want to have him, but then you kind of probably don't because he's also a fucking hornball. He's trying to holler at anything walking around that's not male. So it's kind of funny. After you meet him, Austin, Monica, which is a couple that's also there, you start to see how Ian's behavior is even affecting them because they're all just really trying to kick it, man. It's a great hiking destination. And my dude is walking around acting like there is something chasing him. He feels like there's something watching him. And in all honesty, he might be right. There is something fucking watching him. There's something watching all their asses. Loop Track is your classic creature movie, late night drive-in flick mixed in with a very well written paranoia film. The funny thing about paranoia films is I was just talking to one of my clients in the gym the other day. We were talking about Bug, that movie Bug back in the day. That is it's probably one of the best examples of like a paranoia film. And to see these elements come together is great because I feel like even in a movie like Bug, I wouldn't have been mad if a giant bug would have actually walked up in the room and fucked up them. You know what I'm saying? Or if there was actually a whole bunch of bugs coming out of their bodies really fucking them up, you know? But it was just more about what's going on up here. And they have that. Loop Track has the moments of the film with you and Ian and the rest of the group where you're trying to figure out what's going on with him up there. Um, my boy got some more stuff going on. He ain't sleeping. He ain't eating. You know what I'm saying? You know, when people start doing that shit, it's time to fucking leave, fam. So Loop Track, man, we gave it a 3.5 out of 5. We actually just posted our review on Horror Movies Uncut earlier this morning. So make sure you go over there, check it out. HMUNCUT.com. That's the home base. Go check it out. Read the review. We also have it up on IMDb. If you guys go on IMDb and you search me, you'll actually get every single one of my reviews. If you're on Letterboxd and you also follow us at Horror Movies Uncut, when I do the updates, it will update on Letterboxd with our ratings and reviews as well. So I really, really enjoy Loop Track. It's got a certain charm to it that I appreciate it. When I root for stuff in a movie, it's a great time for me. It's one of the reasons why I'm like debating if I actually need to go see the movie I'm gonna talk about later because like I had a good time with the movie I saw today, so it might be a FIFA night. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, go see Loop Track. It's great. It's gonna be out in limited theaters, but on demand everywhere starting tomorrow. Loop Track. Definitely check it out if you're a monster fan. If you're a fan of films like Jurassic Park, but you don't mind something a little slower and a little bit more up here, like get with it, man. Like you really, really got to get with Thomas's performance. And for a guy behind the camera, I got a feeling he can get just as much work in front as he could from behind. So we will be back. Don't you go anywhere. Submissions and Slashers podcast. You know how we do. Find us every single one of those outlets. We used to be on anchor.fm, but now that's Spotify for podcasters. So that's just Spotify like we always been on. We got the YouTube videos. We got the Horror Movies Uncut website that you can find us. You know what, brother? If you can't find us, it's because you're not looking enough. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't want me to get into that wrestling talk. Y'all ain't ready for that life. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. Submissions and Slashers. PFL and Bellator in bed, merged, came together. God, we'll have a conversation one day about that, and we'll make it a special conversation. But right now, just talking about these movies. See you soon, people. Welcome back to Sub and Slash. Travis Brown, lustrous, illuminating family known as Horror Movies Uncut. It is like my pleasure to be able to have this segment for you guys every single time. I don't give a shit if we do 2, 1, or 3 podcasts a week. This is always going to be
weird news
of last week. Right here. You know how we get down. Right. Sub and Slash, baby. So, all right. There's this restaurant called Chopped. I've never been there before. I will be checking one out next time. I'm definitely not going to eat there. I don't like to eat. Place in St. Louis, I guess it would be like the equivalent of Crushed Red. And I know there's Crushed Reds in other places, but it's like a salad like place. And it's like a fast food salad place. You know what I mean? Like the chain franchise like salad places. That I can't talk shit about because as a guy that used to work at a training facility and I was like there all fucking day, when you run out of food, to be able to have like a legit, like you can see them making the salads and tossing shit right then and there, and you know it's coming from a bag in the back, but at least they're giving you an effort. You're not mad at it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I fucks with places like this. But Chopped has a little lawsuit going on because I guess last Monday, Allison Cozy of Greenwich, Connecticut, alleges she bought a salad at Chopped, which is in the Mount Kisco location, on April 7th of 2023, okay, and realized while eating it, she was chewing. Not that she just found it. Not that it was on her plate. She was chewing. It was already in her mouth. A portion of a human finger. In the name of love. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one of them songs that you sing when with your fingers all up in front of people, right? Chewing on it. I dated a chick that chewed on people's fingers before. It didn't last long. You know what I'm saying? Um, but fam, to go into a restaurant, like, all right, peep the scenario. We sitting there, we eat lunch, we're talking about some, fantasy football or something like that, and you just sitting there chewing, you're like, yeah, so you really think the Travis Kelce stuff is really going out? The fuck is that? Is that like portion of a knuckle? What? You know what I'm saying? Like you are chewing on another person's finger. So what happened is there was one of the chefs, and she's the manager of the restaurant. She accidentally severed a piece of her left pointer finger while she was chopping something at Chopped. Hold on. If you have a place called Chopped, The last thing your people should be fucking either themselves up on or y'all shit up on is chopping shit. Because the name of your place is Chopped. Let's think about places that have the names of exactly what the fuck they do and how that would be such a travesty if you went in there. Like, if you go to Jiffy Lube and it takes a little bit longer than you're expecting it to be, well, how the fuck do you really know the definition of Jiffy? Like, is there a time? Is Jiffy like a certain, like, well, actually, like 2 minutes and 30 seconds is Jiffy. That's Jiffy. You know what I'm saying? Like, is there actually a time to describe Jiffy? Like, what the fuck is Jiffy? It's just quick, right? All right. But if you went into Jiffy Lube and they said, we need to keep your car overnight, you'd be like, fuck you, motherfucker. Like, you're right. You'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? Get this shit done in 5 minutes so I can move on with my day. So if you go to a place called Chopped, I'm expecting you to be able to accomplish. You got one job, dog. You got one job. You chop shit. And if you the manager, that means in some shape, form, or fashion, you are the head chopper. Right? How? Here's the next question I have to ask. And it was to arugula. Like, I love arugula. Like, big shout out to Katie's Pizza. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm mad. Like, how you gonna do that to arugula, fam? The craziest thing to just sum all this shit up, right? Did you not think to look for the piece of your finger? You know you cut the motherfucker off. She went to the hospital. You know you cut your finger. Okay. I'm working on one of my cars yesterday. You work on a car. If you don't have a little thing for your nuts and bolts to put shit to the side and something fall in that black abyss, that's on you, Pete. That ain't got shit to do with anybody else, fam, except for you. If I cut my finger while I'm making food, I don't give a shit. If I'm making an omelet, if I'm making biscuits and gravy, somebody out there just said, I guarantee you somebody just said, Motherfuckers love biscuits and gravy. Not lie. No, like, just truth. If you cut your finger, you need to stop everything you doing right then and there because you're working with food and now you probably have a portion of your finger in the food. Like, when you just sitting there, just like, yeah, we was watching an episode of Grey's Anatomy. We trying to get back into some shows. It's getting cold outside, so we ain't doing anything. Cut your fucking finger off. Where's your piece? But you know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to do any Takashi Mike shit with the blood, like. Where is your finger at, fam? It's in the salad. It's in the arugula. How dare you? Bruh, I can't. Like, I, I don't even remember. I got on such a rant in my head about this. They got fined $900. This is about to sound very, very fucked up. But for $900, y'all better watch every manager of every fast casual chain available out there in this bitch. Because if you get one disgruntled employee out there, how we know that motherfucker just ain't gonna be like, you know what? I'm about to contaminate all y'all motherfuckers. E. coli ain't got shit on Ethan lie. You know what I'm saying? We were just going out and fingering some dirty thing and then coming right over to work being like, yep, that's the Jerry trick. You know? I'm done. I can't with this stuff, but I love it and I'm going to keep looking for it so I can tell you guys about it because I love how fucking insanely moronic and dumb we are becoming as a society. Oh my God, it is better than any TV show that could ever be created. You cut your fucking finger off and you don't know it's in the salad. Fam. That's, you know, that's the end of it. So, anyway, all right, I got a text message coming in seeing if I want to send some email questions to Brent. I'll think about it. I don't really do the email questions too much anymore because y'all like to see and hear shit. And I got the voice that's the number one choice across the globe, baby. I'm only doing that portion for the podcast people, just so you know. So if you're watching the video at home, I apologize because y'all probably like, bro, just stop. That's for the podcast people. All right. So anyway, we need to get ready to wrap up the show. So we're going to take a quick little break and then we will come back talking about the big budget action thriller film that if you guys haven't figured out by now, I hope you should. We'll talk about a little indie film shout out from below the grave. And then I'll be honest with you, man. We're going to talk about what the hell is streaming next week. Actually, you know what? We won't. We're going to talk about the big budget film. We're going to give a little indie film shout out, take another break, and then wrap that up after that. But y'all only got not too much more left. Submissions / podcast. Follow everything, like everything, give us money. Sell Airbnbs. Let's get down. You know what I'm saying? We be right People, back. Welcome back to episode number 44, Submissions and Slashers podcast. Big shout out to Kid Cudi. My boy is out there doing his acting thing, and he is one of the characters in the film starring Mr. Joel Kinnaman by the legendary action director himself, John Woo. The movie we are talking about that is the big budget action thriller you definitely need to see this week. Silent Night, baby. Revenge movies. Let's go. All right. In Silent Night, we got the story of a father who is looking for revenge. And he wants revenge because a group of gang members on some crazy ass day, shootout, drive by, battling each other, bullet spraying everywhere, hits his kid, kills his kid, almost kills him. He comes back, becomes completely John Wick meets Liam Neeson type shit from beyond the grave on some takeover, go back, falling down type stuff. This is one man army movies that if you are action films like fans like I am, you will always have love for. It's the most ridiculous type of films because you got to think like if I was to say, okay, what movie would you play at a double feature for Silent Night? You would play you play the original Die Hard, the one man army films, right? We need one more. We need one man. We need one woman. And I mean, if y'all want to do a he, she, they, their thing, man, film too, I'm down. Uh, but I'm just saying, like, we need like that whole entire premise is always something that is so great to see in action films, and it normally involves revenge films, and usually with women, like Spit on Your Grave and stuff like that. That's kind of the case. Is it's a one woman army movie, but they're usually going after one or two people. But a film like this, when you see somebody going up against different gangs and stuff like that, lots of fun, man. John Woo, you know it's going to be just crazy scenes. The reviews for it have been bananas so far. Like I said, I'm excited for it. I think I'm going to wait take my son to go see it tomorrow. I'm waiting on him to get out of basketball practice so I can find out if he wants to see this or if he wants to see the new Godzilla movie. We'll figure it out. But Silent Night is the film you want to see this film, period, because it just looks like a ton of fun. But if you're an action film, it's a must-have. And kind of like the Violent Night that came out last year with Homeboy from Stranger Things, it looks like it has that type of ability to become one of those movies you're going to watch every single Christmas. Let's go. It's that time of year, right? The craziest thing about films is you have 2 seasons back to back where movies are so important to people's lives, it's ridiculous. That's Halloween and Christmas. And that's why horror is exactly like I tell you guys all the time. The king of it all is because, of course, you have tons of films that come out in the Halloween time frame, but man, the amount of action genre, sci-fi, horror films that come out around the holiday Christmas season has always been pretty impressive. And that's why, starting next week, I'm going to make sure you guys know to better watch out for some films that you should be seeing or should have seen already. You got to know about some of these films. So happy to let you guys know. But Silent Night is what you definitely want to go check out this week, next week. I'm waiting to hear a lot of people talk about that movie because it should just be a lot of fun, right? All right, so moving on, indie film shouts from Beyond the Grave. There's this British crime thriller, Vengeance, Rise of the Foot Soldier, which is part of a series of films that I need to go back and actually watch the first Vengeance film. See, look, I'm giving myself ideas. I'm like, hey, if I need to satisfy, right, my primal urge, I really need to go rewatch that PFL card from this past weekend and the Andrade fight or the Benavidez fight. I need to go watch. There's a lot of fights I need to go back and watch before college football comes this weekend. Go Michigan. But Vengeance, Rise of the Foot Soldier is a film that just got thrown to us. We posted a trailer for it the other day on Horror Movies Uncut. We'll have a review for it on next week's episode for you guys. But I got to do it right. I got to go and actually watch the previous film so I know how to really dig into Rise of Foot Soldier. But it's the shout out that we're giving for a movie that you need to know that'll be hitting on demand circuits later this month. Make sure you head over to the website. Okay? We'll be right back. Talk about what the hell is streaming next week. Talk about what we're doing on next week's show. Close it out. Don't go anywhere. Submissions and Slashers, episode 44. Almost done, folks. You know where to find us, Submissions and Slashers, if you're on Spotify or any of your podcast listening platforms. YouTube also find us there. Find us there. Horror Movies Uncut is the home platform at HMU NCUT. You will always find everything. All right, folks, let's wrap up episode number 44. What the hell is streaming next week?
Like hell I am. You're the one who told me to rent from Morgan's. Now get the hell off my property, you son of a bitch. If I ever see that damn dog of yours peeing on my yard again, I'm going to shoot both of you.
A lot of good stuff, to be honest with you. Do Not Disturb, which is a little cannibal movie that I've talked about a couple times on the show. There's a review for it up on our website. There's Something in the Barn, which was a great little treat that I watched at Fantastic Fest this past season. It's a good holiday movie. It's a legit holiday movie. They're going to be showing a lot of my friends here in my hometown of St. Louis as something to add to their holiday horror collection. More that we'll be talking about. There's Monsters of California hidden DVD. The Bellkeeper, which is that film that I believe stars Tony Todd, his DVD December 5th. Big shout out to John Pata, my homegirl Jill Six, and all the people behind the crew of Black Mold. They're going to be doing their Tubi debut December 7th. Santa Isn't Real, which is a film that I posted a little bit something about on Horror Movies Uncut. It's not been a lot of steam about it, but I think it's a good little indie slasher that people should check out. That's coming out next week. A Creature Was Stirring, Peacock, Lord of Misrule, The Sacrifice Game. We talked about that for a little bit last week. Big shout out to Jen Wexler, and of course the Cello. So, the Cello. Films like that, we're going to be having reviews for holiday horror films that you need to see. If you haven't seen, we're going to be giving you guys a couple of those to get on. We don't have that Lord of Misrule interview, so we won't have that, but we'll make sure to give you guys some updates on some upcoming interviews after that. So we're going to try to drop a weekend edition of the show, so we line you up for the start of the next week. Submissions and Slashers, we appreciate you guys checking in with us. That's all we got for tonight. We are out. Follow, subscribe. Catch you on the next one.